Every step your chicken takes behind you across the open yard is a step away from safety. Exposed sky, exposed ground, no flock around her, and she's making that trade specifically for you, not for whoever happens to be holding the food bucket. There's a precise, deliberate message hidden inside that daily shadow at your heels, one most backyard keepers reduce to a chase for treats. And once you see what's actually driving it, that walk across the yard looks completely different. If you think she's just following the food, wait until you see what her silence, her sounds, and even her sense of your daily schedule are actually revealing about where you rank in her world. So what is she actually deciding when she chooses to walk behind you instead of staying with the flock? What's the difference between the sound she makes while following you in silence versus when she's calling out? And what does it mean when that daily shadow suddenly disappears? When your chicken follows you around the yard, do you actually know what she's trying to say? Yes, it's funny to watch, but behind that shuffling little shadow at your heels, there's something most backyard keepers completely miss. It's one of the most emotionally loaded things a chicken can do. And if you misread it, which most people do, you've been walking right past a message she's been sending every single day. Let's start with what that following behavior really means. 1. It was never just about the food. Most people assume it's simple. You bring the treats, she follows the treats. End of story. But here's the thing. Chickens are resourceful foragers. They scratch, peck, and locate food all day long without your help. If food was the only driver, she'd follow anyone carrying a bucket. She doesn't. She follows you. Because movement in a prey animal is vulnerability. Every instinct a chicken carries tells her to stay close to the flock, to stay low, to stay alert. The sky is a threat. The tree line is a threat. Open ground is a threat. And yet she walks right out into it, behind a human 5 times her size, completely exposed. That's not appetite. That's a choice she made about you specifically. Research published in Applied Animal Behaviour Science has found that domestic hens form individual recognition bonds with their human caregivers, responding differently to familiar people than to strangers, even when no food reward is present. When your hen follows you across the yard, she's telling you something she has no other way to say. You are part of her safe world. And by the way, if she suddenly stops following you after months of doing it, don't ignore that. We'll get into what that really means later, and it's something every flock keeper needs to understand before it happens. 2. She's reading your body, not your face. Have you ever noticed your chicken tilt her head and look up at you right before she falls into step behind you? That's not random, that's assessment. Chickens have eyes on the sides of their heads, which means they use one eye at a time to focus on specific objects. When she tilts her head and fixes one eye on you, she's running an evaluation. Here's what most people don't realize. Your hen has memorized you, not just your face, but the whole picture. The rhythm of your walk, the silhouette of your body against the sky, the way your movements change when you're carrying something versus when your hands are empty. Studies in animal cognition show that chickens can distinguish between individual humans and track behavioral patterns associated with each person. Your hen doesn't just know you're there, she knows it's you, specifically. And she's decided that where you go is where she wants to be. This is also why she may hesitate around strangers or freeze when an unfamiliar person enters the yard. It's not shyness, it's precision. She knows the difference, and she trusts her own read of you far more than any external cue. And if this is landing differently than you expected, hit that like and subscribe. It helps us reach more chicken keepers who want to understand what their flock is actually communicating. 3. She thinks you're the head of the flock. Ever notice that she doesn't just follow you, she follows you closely, staying within a few feet, adjusting when you change direction, sometimes even vocalizing softly while she walks? That placement is deliberate. Here's something that might surprise you. Chickens are deeply hierarchical. Every flock has a structure, and every individual in it knows their position. When your hen integrates you into that structure, she's not confused about species. She's made a social decision. You rank, and following the ranking member isn't submission, it's strategic. In a flock, proximity to the dominant individual means first access to resources, protection from conflict, and a buffer against threats from outside the group. When your hen trails you around the yard, part of what she's doing is affiliating. She's placing herself where the social math makes the most sense. Watch what happens when you stop suddenly. A hen that has genuinely integrated you into her flock structure will stop too, often looking around to assess the environment. Not because she lost interest, but because she assumed you stopped for a reason. She's watching the world through your behavior. 4. Every vocalization during the follow is a different message. Does she follow you in silence? Follow you with soft trilling? Follow you with short, sharp calls? Each of these sounds is telling you something completely different. Let's start with a soft trill or purring contact call. This is the most consistent sound a contented hen makes while moving. It's a flock cohesion signal, a low-level broadcast that says, "I'm here, I'm fine, we're together." When your hen trills while following you, she's including you in her flock broadcast. You are who she's checking in with. Now the short, repetitive clucking, faster pace, slightly higher, this often means she's alerting you to something. She noticed a shift in the environment before you did and she's flagging it. Chickens have distinct alarm call types depending on whether a threat is aerial or ground level. And the research behind this, documented by Dr. Chris Evans and colleagues studying chicken communication, shows a sophistication most people never credit them with. And then there's the quiet follow with no sound at all. This is often the most intimate. She's simply present. No agenda, no alarm, no request. She's with you because being with you is enough. 5. She's adjusted her entire day around yours. Have you noticed your hen seems to appear whenever you step outside, no matter the time? That's not a coincidence. It's a system she built. Chickens are highly routine driven. Their bodies are tuned to environmental cues, light levels, temperature shifts, the sounds of the yard settling into morning. But bonded hens do something remarkable on top of that baseline. They layer in a second clock, yours. Research into domestic chicken behavior has found that hens living in close contact with consistent human caregivers begin to anticipate human routines independently of environmental cues. They position themselves near entry points before people emerge. They shift foraging patterns to overlap with periods of human activity. Your hen isn't reacting to you, she's predicting you. She's mapped your schedule and woven herself into it. This is why she's already near the gate when you come out in the morning. She didn't hear you, she knew. 6. She feels the shift in you before you show it. Ever had a tense morning, running late, something weighing on you, and noticed your hen behaving differently around you? Following a little more closely than usual, or hanging back more than normal? That's not random. She noticed something before you said a word. Chickens are tuned to the behavioral signatures of the individuals they're bonded with. Your pace changes when you're stressed. Your attention shifts. The way you move through the yard is different when something's wrong. A hen who has followed you long enough has built a baseline of what your normal looks like, and deviations from that baseline register to her immediately. Studies on social cognition in birds show that domestic hens respond to the emotional states of familiar individuals, adjusting their own behavior based on cues from bonded companions. When you're calm, she forages freely. When something's off, she stays closer. Not because she understands the problem, but because her read of you tells her to close the distance. Your daily walks through that yard have given her a front row seat to your patterns. Night after night, morning after morning, she's been collecting data. She knows your baseline better than you might think. 7. When she suddenly stops, listen. What does it mean when a hen who has followed you for months suddenly doesn't? This is what I mentioned at the beginning, and it matters more than most people realize. If your hen has been your shadow for a season and that behavior drops off, don't chalk it up to mood. Chickens are creatures of consistency. When a strong behavioral pattern breaks, something caused it. Sometimes the reason is physical. A hen that's ill, in pain, or dealing with a reproductive issue will often withdraw from social behavior. Chickens instinctively conceal vulnerability. It's a survival mechanism that goes back to the wild, where showing weakness draws predators. If she stopped following you, and she's also less active overall, moving stiffly, or spending time alone, that warrants a closer look. Other times the reason is environmental. A new bird introduced to the flock. A change in your schedule. A predator scare near the area where she usually walks with you. Something that registers as small to you may have fundamentally shifted her sense of safety in that space. And sometimes the reason is relational. If something frightened her while she was near you, a sudden noise, a move that startled her, she may associate that discomfort with the context of following you. It takes time to rebuild that trust, but it can be rebuilt, slowly, with patience and consistency. Your hen chose to follow you because she decided, on her own terms, that you were worth following. If that changes, she's not being difficult, she's communicating. The same way she always has, through behavior, proximity, and the quiet logic of a creature who has been watching you far more carefully than you knew. Pay attention to what she's telling you. That daily walk across the yard was never small to her. It shouldn't be small to you either.